Madison Hricik, welcome to the Sport Profile.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I know that you and I have been goofing off for a while now, so I feel like we're already knee deep in this.
What's it been? 30 minutes?
I was gonna say pretty much.
I feel like what's it been like what would you call that? A pre-brief? Because not a debrief.
It's
Debriefs
definitely
come
not
after.
a debrief. Exactly. I don't know. Is it bad for me to be like it's basically like pre-gaming the conversation? Like I feel like that's a very
pre-game
like
this conversation hard.
We kind of did.
Yeah, actually, that's good. We had a pre-game. We pre-game the podcast.
Oh man! In case anyone's curious to how unserious we can be sometimes.
I mean, that's very, very true. And
I
listen,
feel like
like,
that's the best way for it, like to explain it.
I completely agree. And like, I mean, yes, that is the best way to explain like what we just got into. But that's also my goal too, is to like, just be casual, like, talk shop, but also just like, I mean, I learned a lot about you like in 30 minutes, like. Don't worry, I still got all my questions. We're still doing this, but
I'm sure.
I do really want to ask because even in our pregame, how has Iowa treated you so far? You're 2.5 months into this new gig, and congratulations.
Thank you.
How has Iowa been treating you? Because you're an East Coast girl. You grew up in DC. How the Midwest is not in your cards usually.
No, not in the slightest.
Not usually. I shouldn't say usually, but like
no, like quite literally not.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest. Like
Seems
to
foreign
put this
for
in,
you.
it is like I guess my first true experience in the Midwest was when I flew out here to look at apartments after I'd already taken the job. Like that was my first experience in the Midwest.
Was that a solo trip or like?
No, I went with my aunt.
Oh, your
aunt
came
went
with you.
Me. My aunt had come with me. My mom wanted to come with me. My mom works in financial analytics and stuff like that, so she was in the middle of like prepping for the fiscal calendar.
Sure.
And all of that. And it was kind of like she could come with me to look at apartments or she could come with me to move me in. And so I was like, let's do the latter that involves more labor with things that I can't do, like build furniture.
Sure.
And so my aunt came out with me and we went and looked at all of our apartment, like all the apartment options and stuff like that. Ironically enough, like I'm in my apartment now. I didn't see this building until I got here and like actually moved out here because it's a brand new building. So it was still in the process of being made when I like went and toured everything.
Yeah. And I read that you were like starting your job and working without even an apartment. So like you were not living in this building the entire duration of your short job so far.
Correct. Yes, I was in an extended stay for the first like 2.5 weeks that I was here, and some of it
like
just
a
like
hotel?
like pretty much, yeah. Like it was a hotel room, but it just like it had a kitchen in there and it had like a little bit more space.
So like a Zach and Cody setup.
Pretty much, like it on like a smaller scale. Like it's not like as fancy, but like on that kind of like it was a livable hotel.
Sure.
I say livable. I was there for 2.5 weeks, and I was like, "Get me out of this place."
I would be too.
I was like, "All right, I'm done. I'm out of here." But no, it's been a very big change. Like I've noticed a lot of like culture things that are different. I'm used to like growing up in DC. Everyone's moving at like 100% speed. Like everyone's go go go. It's a lot slower here. Just like
I can imagine
how people go about their day to day and all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like I'm kind of the one that has to remind myself to slow down. Rather than feeling like I'm keeping up with the pace of everybody else from like being in the Northeast and growing up in the DC area.
Yeah.
But also just like, honestly, everyone's so nice and welcoming here to the point where it like threw me off. Like significantly.
Threw you off? How so?
Yes. Because it's just like, especially coming from upstate New York where I have met a ton of great people and loved that area. You're still in the Northeast. Like the Northeast isn't necessarily known for its like public hospitality. You know what I mean? And so
that is something our friend Lulu Kesson said.
Exactly. And so coming out here and having people email me and be like, if you ever need anything, like let us know. Like we'll send you restaurant recommendations. Like people were inviting me to their church and
who
like,
are those people
just
that
like
are emailing
readers.
you? Just like community?
Just readers.
Really?
That, like, when I made the announcement I was coming here, they just started like emailing me with all this stuff. Like there was one person who their daughter went to Syracuse and they're like, if you ever need like somebody that has a little bit of a connection to home, like you're more than welcome to reach out to us at any point and stuff like that. And it was just like, it took me so far back because even when I was living in South Carolina and living, like, where, like, the Southern hospitality thing kinda comes into the picture,
Yeah.
like, honestly, I loved living in South Carolina. I loved the SEC experience and getting to do that. The Midwestern, like, welcome kinda blew the Southern hospitality thing out of the water, and, like, no hate to a
Wow.
lot of people. Like, truly, like, I met some of my best friends in South Carolina that I still love and adore to
Yeah.
this day, Lulu being one of them, and
And Ben Portnoy,
it's
whose
just oh
episode
my
will
god.
be out by the time
By the time this one is.
by the time this one comes out, his will be out. So, and I just need to put this on the record out there. Like, you told me during our pregame that you and Ben spoke yesterday. Insane.
I,
Both
like,
of you had no
literally
knowledge that you were being interviewed by me.
not a clue.
It's insane.
It's so funny. No, it's that yeah, I mean, like, truly, like, some of my best friends come from my experience in South Carolina, and Portnoy being one of them, and
Yeah.
you told me that, and I was like, "There's no way you actually were talking with him the other day."
Literally at noon.
Oh my so he probably he must have called me, yeah, like, a couple hours. Like, it was probably a couple hours difference because he called me right around, like, 3:30 my
Today?
time. Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday.
I
So it was
spoke with him
like
noon today.
okay. So,
That's
yeah,
why it's
that's
funny to
crazy.
me.
That's so crazy. But yeah, it's been fun getting to have, like, such a warm welcome. I think it was, like, very overwhelming because I also wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
But,
What
you
were
know,
you
it's
expecting, if anything?
I actually really don't know what I was expecting.
Sure.
Like, I knew that this was a big job and that this was a beat that a lot of people cared about. I
Totally.
think it was just a matter of, you know, were they gonna welcome me? And I think that's always something that I'm always nervous about whenever I go to a new place or, like, try a
Right.
new beat or, or, like, for me, like, going to Syracuse or, like, going and working with Colgate Athletics while I was in New York and stuff like that, like, are they
Yeah.
gonna welcome me? And if they are, like, in what capacity?
Right.
Because, I've had great experiences across the board. I truly have.
Mhm.
But I've also met and worked with people or just been around fans where I'm not their favorite person and they kind of make it known. And it's something that,
I've
like,
experienced that as well.
it's one of those things where it's like you just kinda deal with it. It's just sometimes it's just part of working. That's just
Sure.
part of being an adult. But
Yes.
it's something I'm wary of. Like, I'm aware of the fact that I am a little bit of a people pleaser, and so that I want people,
Same.
especially when you are a young journalist trying to make a name for yourself, like, I wanna try and put out the best work that I can, show them, like, I am
Yeah.
going to be someone you can trust, and I'm going to work my butt off to be able to be trustworthy.
Mhm.
Um,
And this is
but
also
I
like your
I
first
mean
professional job out of school.
yeah, this is yes, because it's weird because the way that I've kind of described it actually, this was the term that, Portnoy coined for me, was like, this
Okay.
is kinda job, like, 1A for me. Like, South
Hmm.
Carolina was a full-time internship/fellowship situation. I was working full-time, doing all the full-time responsibilities, but I wasn't a full-time employee. So, like, I always tell people, like, that was, like, my first full-time job experience in this
Yeah.
industry. However, this is, like, the job, like,
Right.
the first job that I have had where, like,
Yeah.
everything that comes with having a full-time being a full-time employee, like, the benefits, like, all of those little things. I say little, like, they're not, like,
Shit, I
relevant to
was
our
about to say
lives.
they ain't that little.
Oh, they're not little, but in the sense of, like, the stuff
So
that goes along with actually
yeah.
doing the job, there you go,
Right.
that's the better way of saying it. But, like, all of that was attached to this job.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of deem it 1A. I've stolen that from Ben.
No, and that makes sense.
And it's a good way of explaining it. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just
totally.
like I want to do well because I know how many people, especially in this state, there's no pro sports.
Mm.
Everybody that is a pro sports fan, they usually lean towards Chicago or Minneapolis. Couple St. Louis fans here and there. So, like, this whole town right now is all Chicago Cubs right now.
Sure.
Chicago Cubs, and then on Sundays the Bears fans will poke out from their
Right.
cave, and then they'll be focused on the Cubs again.
That
Pun
makes
fully intended
sense.
on that one.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Oh, I love that. What do you think was, I mean, you've made obviously like a couple transitions from, from JMU going up to Syracuse, then back to the South with South Carolina and, then darting out west. what do you think has made, or what do you think has helped the transition the most? I'm not going to sit here and say they're smooth.
Oh
I
gosh,
mean,
no.
heck, if they were smooth, great, love that for you. Like, you should share your tips. You know what?
There's
Actually,
always
change
something.
that question. What are some of your tips on like moving different places?
Um, I
Because
see, here's the thing for me.
yeah,
I hate packing. I
same.
despise it.
I'm
Um,
awful.
and I will procrastinate on it to the point
Me
where my
too.
family will get on me about it.
Same.
And so a lot of times at least when I've been moving, like when I moved to Syracuse, when I moved out here, when I moved back, I guess, back home for all of like 30 seconds after college, um, a lot of times it literally was just like recruiting somebody to help me out. Like it really was. Like sometimes it was my
Like a
little sister.
friend. Oh,
Sometimes it was
okay.
my little sister. Sometimes my little sister and then my mom's best friend, her daughter helped move me out of my college apartment. They like
Okay.
drove a pickup truck and then I had my little Kia
Oh.
Sportage. And so we loaded everything in those two cars, the three of us. And then, like,
Well,
when I was getting ready for Syracuse, like, my best friend, she ended up helping me a lot with that. She's a big packer, big organizer.
okay.
And so that was a lot for her,
See,
a
I'm
lot of
very
stuff for
organized
her.
too, but I just can't do it. Like my undergrad was at Ryder, which is 45, 50 minutes south of where I live now in
Mhm.
Jersey. I was overpacking for like a weekend home. Like
Yeah.
I can't pack for anything. I'm
I
terrible.
I have an overnight in Wisconsin for the Iowa-Wisconsin football game Saturday night.
Hmm.
I will probably just throw in the clothes that I will be wearing, about 5 minutes before I walk out the door.
Yeah.
Granted, it's one night, so it's, like, whatever, and we're driving basically straight to the arena, like, to the stadium, so it's not like I'm, like,
All right, so you're
having to do,
driving.
like yeah, it's only 2 hours from here. It's, like, 2.5. It's not bad.
So what's the overnight?
Um so it's because it's a night game.
Ah, true.
It's a 6 p.m. kickoff, so we're
Makes
not gonna
sense.
be out of there until probably midnight, after midnight, and so, like, I'll literally, I will probably just, like, put everything in a bag and leave
Yeah.
and just walk out the door. Like, I hate it, and it is such and it's I wish I could get behind, like, the packing and the organization the way because the rest of my family is, aside from my mom. I do get some of this from my mom, but, like,
Yeah.
my 2 sisters are, like, huge on packing and organizing, especially my middle
Hmm.
sister. She's, she is, like, organization, like, guru, truly.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Like, she'll send like, anytime we do, like, a family trip or whatnot, like, she'll send, like, a color-coded packing list to our entire
Oh,
family. It
she's
is,
that
like,
type of person?
her thing. And I'm like, "You and I could not be any further different." Like, truly.
I don't know how to feel about that. I love that. I love that, but oh my god, that's like bothers me. It's
It's
like
insane. It's
so
insane.
unnecessary.
It's
Is it
so
really that deep?
for her, it needs to be
And
because
that's
she's like,
fine. Like I'm not here to shit on anybody's values, but
"Fair."
but yeah, I mean, like you know, all things considered, it seems like you're having a lot of fun.
I am. It's been very different, and I think it's a good different for me because it's
Yeah.
like I spent all of last year at Syracuse very much in the realm of multimedia, doing the TV packages, sideline reporting, and color commentary. And I loved the in-game live broadcast side of it, but
Yeah.
I missed writing every day,
Right.
truly. And because I mean, the reality is like that's what I've done for so much of my life. And so getting an opportunity to not only just get back into writing every day and like being a beat reporter in that sense, but also being able to do that while knowing like, okay, I've got all of these additional multimedia skills that I've earned that I can now like slowly start incorporating into this job.
Totally.
It makes it a lot of fun and I've never done the Big Ten, so just the excitement of
Yeah.
experiencing all of it is really cool too. And so I'm getting to travel to places that I probably never would go to otherwise.
Right.
Um, like I get to go to Los Angeles for the Iowa USC game in November. I'm so
Yeah.
excited about that. That's probably my favorite road trip that I've got. Madison, Wisconsin is gonna be a lot of fun too. I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time like exploring Madison as much as I would like,
Mhm.
but I'm only 2.5 hours away, so who's to say I can't go up there
It's true.
later this year if I get an opportunity to do like a men's basketball game or a women's basketball game or
Yeah.
something along those lines, and maybe in the spring or something like that. So that's one of those road trips where it's like I might not do a ton for football, but I'll do some later, whether on my own or a different sport. But the LA one I'm
Yeah.
super excited about, and it's just like I really don't. I think the big thing for me is just like I get to talk about sports and write about sports and like go in the weeds with all of this for my job. Like that's what I get paid to do.
Mhm.
And it's such a fun concept because the whole concept of sports to begin with is just a fun experience.
Absolutely.
And so I try my best to remember that and use that to my advantage as much as possible. And so it's just like
Right.
I just try to enjoy it. Like getting to see the wave for the first time in person was awesome. I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
psyched to see Jump Around for the first time. And it's just like all of those little things. Like it just reminds you how cool this job is. And sometimes it's annoying and sometimes I'm up till 2 a.m. and I'm frustrated or I'm hard on myself and whatnot. But it's just like those are the kinds of things that just is like, yeah, this is my job. And like
Yeah.
I truly think I have one of the coolest jobs on the planet. Like truthfully.
Absolutely.
I think anybody that gets to do this has some of the coolest jobs on the planet.
Yeah. No, for sure. You were mentioning before about like the road trips. Before this, before our pregame, I was listening to Fate of Ophelia and
Oh, yes.
just kind of hyping myself up for this conversation. So
Yes.
on a trip to, whether it's an away game or even to a game you're covering, what's up what's on your playlist?
Ooh, okay, hold on. Let's pull up Spotify because sometimes it changes.
Well, I know
Um,
you're very into Luke Combs.
I
So,
am. Yes, I lost my mind yesterday when Luke Combs announced the 2026 tour
yes.
dates, and Ames was one of them. I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to this concert. No, I love listening to country music. A lot of times for like if I'm driving myself, it's just me. My playlist can go from Luke Combs to Megan Maroney to Taylor Swift, Sabrina like we'll go and just do
Yeah.
we'll do like a full genre exploration. Like I'll throw
Oh,
in
you'd
like
love
Noah
my playlist
Kahn.
then.
I'm like Noah Kahn will get thrown in there occasionally. I'm like depending on how I'm feeling, like we might go like a little bit of like punk rock, like start leaning into like Blink 182 and stuff like
Ooh.
that. Like I will explore the discography as possible. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm
We're
also a
gonna
big
swap
music buff
playlists after
too. We
this.
might need to.
Oh, we will.
Um, but
I
I
think we'll like each other's music taste.
I have a feeling. But like music has always been such a huge part of my life. Like it's a
Yeah.
part of me that I don't get to publicly talk about a ton, but I do have a huge part of my life tied to music. So as
Sure.
much as I can, I try to like enjoy it. So like new albums, live music, that kind of stuff. That is just so much fun to me. But road trip playlists will start with just kind of like my go-tos,
Mhm.
like the new album from Taylor Swift, the
Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter album that just came out earlier this year, which is just straight bangers as well. And then it'll start as we get closer to games. I basically like to treat myself like I'm still an athlete, and I'll basically
Sure.
start putting on like a little bit of like hype music just to kind of like get myself
Yeah.
um into it because I think the biggest thing I've learned too is just like
I
especially
mean, you
with
did
print
swim
writing, like
for a while too.
I did. I was a competitive swimmer for a long time, and so I understand the concept of like hyping yourself up and you're just waiting for a while.
Right.
And that's a lot of the time that's what it is when you're covering, especially college football. Like you get there and you're like 4 hours early to the game, but you're listening to your hype playlist the entire time.
Mhm.
Um, and so that part's kind of nice, but it's just also like you got to enjoy it too. I might not get to go to tailgates like college football fans get to, but like I'm still
The
gonna have fun.
trade-offs.
I'm still gonna enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
So it'll slowly start transitioning to more of like what you would hear like in the stadiums during warm-ups and stuff like that as
Totally.
I get closer to the stadium. But yeah, it definitely starts with like my classic playlist of like
Yeah.
all of like where my personality comes from is where that really kind of starts, and it starts
Oh,
transitioning
absolutely.
over to like the more like hype up playlists, I guess you could
Yeah.
call it.
Oh, absolutely. Something I'm also curious about, on the journalism side is, how are you finding your stories? You're very obviously very new to the Midwest. You're probably not new to like having people pitch you stories or things like that. I'm curious, like what stories do you like to be pitched, and what stories do you really like to tell?
So one of the types of stories that I really like to tell that I got into while I was in college was a lot of the behind the scenes stories. Like getting to know like what makes a football game happen
Oh,
or
okay.
how big events maybe that aren't football related work. So like one thing that I got to kind of share a little bit about yesterday that was broken is that the Savannah Bananas are coming to Iowa
I
City in July.
saw.
I'm so excited. This will be my
Oh my
second
god, I
time
want to
that I'll have an
go.
opportunity. It'll be my second time I'll have an opportunity to potentially cover them.
Yeah.
And they're just a joy to work with, truly.
Mhm.
Um, but that's gonna like they're converting a football stadium into a baseball field.
You
And
already
I
did it for
was
basketball.
right, and I was done that kind of stuff before. They've done it for basketball, they've done it for wrestling. Like it's not out of the ordinary for Hawkeye Athletics to do this. But a baseball field in a football state, like you know what I mean? Like
Yes,
with
like a
with
regulation
basketball.
field too.
Right, exactly. And so it's just like it's interesting to see how that works out. And so that's a story that I might try and pursue without even someone needing to pitch it to me.
Sure.
That's just genuinely me being curious.
Right.
Because those kinds of behind the scenes stories don't often get told, but at the same time, they're so interesting to learn about. And I think a
Yes.
lot of fans are really interested about it and they might not even know, which is why I really like doing them. Is that I'll
Totally.
throw the story out there and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think about this." And then
Yeah.
they'll go in and they're like, "Wait, this is so cool." And I'm like, "I know, right?" So I love that. But then also anytime I can get somebody, whether it's, maybe it's an SID or a fan or a parent even, reach out to me and say like, "Hey, this athlete's doing this,"
Hmm.
or I'll get something like, "Hey, this event's going on, put on by this like group of alumni." Like I love to do that kind of stuff. My big thing more
Yeah.
than anything else is athletes are humans at the end of the day. Coaches are humans at the end of the day. They have
Yes.
numbers that define them in the world of sports, but at the end of the day, they're still people with lives that have things
Right.
going on. And a lot of times, especially in college athletics, college football is not the only thing going on in their life. And
Yeah.
so being able to sometimes get the opportunity to tell those stories too is so much fun. So anytime somebody approaches me with those kinds of stories, whether it be like a glimpse into this person's life or some community service effort that they're doing that I can go watch them do one day, I love those stories
Yeah.
because athletes do so much for fan bases in terms of like just how connected they can make fans feel to an organization or a program that sometimes I like to be able to say like, "Okay, cool. Like, yeah, you know all their numbers and everything, but did you also know that this person like does all of this stuff as well?"
Right.
I think that's what makes it fun too. It just keeps it interesting and I love trying to teach readers and my audience as much as I
Totally.
can. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to talk at you, but I want you to feel like you've learned something or that you
Yeah.
feel like you've gained a piece of knowledge that you might look at an athlete differently because of this in a positive light.
Totally.
And so I feel like those are my favorite kinds of stories to tell. And that's also where I think being a part of this new beat is where I'm trying to figure out like where that is. Cause I've started to learn that that's kind of the niche that the beat doesn't have a ton of that I'm like, okay, this is like perfect. This is right up my alley. And so I'm hoping as I get more and more acclimated to this beat and I start getting some more sources and things like that, those can become a more prominent thing in my reporting. So that's the hope and goal, but that's what I
Absolutely.
love to do the most for
Oh,
sure.
for sure. I'm curious, like, how do you feel about like getting pitched about like an athlete partnership? You know, if they're like working with a brand. I mean, obviously NIL is big in the college space. Do you like telling those types of stories too?
I think they can be really fun. I think there is a place in college athletics reporting that those are welcome. And it's something that is a thing here in
Of
Iowa specifically, like Caitlin Clark's deal that she's been going
course.
and doing with Nike and like the new logo that she created. I think it was like early in September that looks so sick.
Yeah, love the logo.
I was like, that's a really good, I like that logo a
Yeah,
lot. And so it's just like it's fun to see that kind of stuff. There's stories that aren't always reported on.
mhm,
But if it's the right kind of it's a lot of it too also just comes down to timing. If it's the right
definitely.
timing for somebody to have that kind of story be told, I'll absolutely do it. It doesn't happen to me very often. where somebody will pitch me, like an NIL thing.
Yeah.
But occasionally it does, and occasionally I do have an interest in trying to tell those stories because a lot of times it does tie back to something that they're passionate about or something that they're giving back
Right.
to their community for and things like that. So it feels like there's almost a sense of how can we as reporters kind of tell this story that, yeah, okay, it's like, okay, this athlete's doing an NIL deal, so what? Well, maybe it's because they're doing this because this is their opportunity to engage with the community for the first time
Right.
outside of playing inside the stadium. Something along those lines. So it's not common, but it does happen, and I do try to give it the space when it warrants it, for sure.
Totally. Something I know you're also extremely passionate about is hockey.
Yes.
Where does that where does that love come from?
So
And you're
this
doing a stadium
actually,
tour,
I
I think,
am.
right?
Yes, I'm trying to.
Well, there's no time limit on it.
Oh gosh, no. I've always told people so covering the NHL is my ultimate dream job
Yeah.
go-to goal. Like that is the thing that I would love to do for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Is to be able to work with an NHL team, get to be in and out of a hockey rink every day. There's just something about that atmosphere that's always been addicting to me. But one of the reason that I got so big into it, it's kind of a two-part story, but
Sure.
essentially my dad got me into the sport when I was little. I grew up around the Alex Ovechkin era.
Yep.
I have a photo of me with my little sister at a hockey game wearing an Alex Ovechkin jersey when it had the assistant captain logo on it, like the little A patch.
Wow.
Like that's how in deep my family is. I have a signed Washington Capitals jersey behind me.
Nice.
So that was actually a gift from the team to my dad.
Aw.
And so it's always been a part of my life. I've always grown up around my dad watching hockey games and me getting into the sport. And then my senior year of high school, I had a project that we had to do where basically it was a job shadow and you had to
Okay.
go and connect with somebody in the industry that worked in the field that you want to major in college. It was like our last assignment
Yeah.
before graduation. I tried everything. Literally, I tried everything. I was reaching out to the local paper, trying to see if I could okay, can I cover some baseball, softball games? I was also still interested in potentially being a culture writer when I was in high school. So I was reaching out to okay, are there local theaters that I could write a couple play reviews on or something like that? Nothing. So finally, I'm watching a hockey game with my dad one night, and he goes, "What if you just DM'd one of the broadcasters on Twitter and just see where it went?" And I was like, you know what? This proposal pitch is due in 3 days. Sure. I was like,
Yeah.
why not? I was like, it basically was the equivalent of me just throwing a Hail Mary. We'll see what happens. So
That's what I do with
reached
some of my
out.
guests.
Sometimes, you just gotta have to do it sometimes. And so
Yeah.
I DM'd John Walton, who is the radio play-by-play guy for the Washington Capitals. Has been, this is his 15th season now that he's been with the team. Sent him a message on Twitter just during a commercial break. Hey, working on a project. Would love to be able to have an opportunity to job shadow you for a couple days for this project. And he DMs me back during an intermission. So mind you, he's actively still working this game and on a commercial break and says, yes, let's do it. So it was the season after they won the Stanley Cup. So it was the spring of 2019. It was during my senior year. And I had done all of this stuff to I filled out this paperwork. I made this little PowerPoint presentation on what I learned, and I got to go and shadow him for, it was 3 home games and then 4 practices, basically a week and a half.
Yeah.
And he took me to press conferences. He took me to the production truck, and I got to watch how it was done from the production side of things.
No
I went and
way.
I met the TV broadcasters, and did I got to watch a period from a TV perspective and all of that kind of stuff. You were not convincing me I was going anywhere else in this industry after that experience, and I still stand firm in that.
So cool.
And so it was so funny having to walk up to my high school principal and being hey, so I know that we're supposed to do it during our job shadow project in these week and a half.
Yeah.
And it was in May, and basically because of hockey season, they were like, can we do it in March so that you have the ability to actually be able to do it? Because they were like, we don't want to sign off on this and then the Caps not make it to those exact days. Because then
Right.
it's what are we doing? No one's here. And so I walked up to my principal and was like, is it okay if I do this? And he was like, why would I say no respectfully? Like, he's like, I would, like, what do you mean? Like, why would I tell you no? So I told all my teachers, and like, I just was basically like, cool, I'm going to go cover Capitals hockey for the next week and a half.
Great. Bye.
And
Better than
it
being in
was
school.
literally like, you're a senior in high school. You're like, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it had no strings attached to it. Like, I didn't have a deadline. I wasn't like, it literally was me sitting in my car, like YouTube vlogger style with my dad dropping me. And my dad also loved it because he basically got a free excuse to go to 3 hockey games in the span of a week and a half. So he was not complaining. I still have like the credentials that I got from those games, and stuff like that.
Those are all mine.
And so, yeah, I have I still have them, like at home right now.
Right.
And so, but yeah, I mean, that's the kind of experience that's just like, you don't forget that. You don't, that shapes you. And I mean, ever
Absolutely.
since then, I think the biggest thing too, actually, was the fact that like the camaraderie around that beat was
Yeah.
so fun to watch. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that's the part that I loved, was just the fact that it was not only was I having the time of my life and being like, oh my God, this is actually like a career path I could do. But then it was getting to go and see that, and see that everyone else around each other, like, it's a competitive industry, but everyone's laughing together. Everyone's having fun and helping each other out. Like, people were asking, like, oh, do you want to come on the radio show tomorrow night? Like, oh, do you want to do this? And it was just like, it's so fun to see that. Like, it was just so fun to watch all that. And when you're like that young, and then you're watching all of like the players that you've watched since you were like 4, like just like on the ice 10 feet in front of you, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of experience that just that shapes you as a human being. And
Absolutely.
I still stay in touch with John Walton to this day. I actually sent him a note. I sent him a message at the start of every Caps season opener, just wishing him a happy hockey season.
Yeah.
And so I still keep in touch with him
it's great.
to this day, and I truly can't thank him enough for that experience, because that's kind of really been the launching pad to me wanting to do all of this. And I don't have necessarily the most roundabout or straightforward path, and that's totally fine with me. But it's just at the same time, it's just like, that created such a powerful end goal for me that it's just like, why would I not want to pursue an opportunity like that, where you truly see how much fun everyone's having?
Absolutely. You obviously mentioned your father.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to ask about him?
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, I just want to say, like, I'm super sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
He died doing something incredibly heroic, and it'd be appropriate if you mentioned that.
Yeah. So my dad was a paramedic for 27 years. And he was a responder to the Pentagon during 9/11. I was 9 days old at the time. My birthday, September 2nd, 2001. So my due date actually was September 11th. I was born very early. But so my dad was he responded to the Pentagon. He was there for 8 days on and off. And during my senior year of college, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer that was stemmed from the jet fuel exposure that he had while responding to the Pentagon. And so it was a very rare, very aggressive form of pancreatic cancer, and he passed during my senior year of college. And so I'm very open and honest about it. I truly am, because as much as it is a difficult thing for me to live with, and for me to continue to live my life doing, one, this is the kind of life my dad wanted for me. He knew that I was so passionate about this. And he was there when I got that message back from John Walton saying yes, and saw how quickly my face lit up and how excited I was that entire experience. And he saw what it was like for me to get my opportunity to cover my first college football game when I was at James Madison, and when I got my first internship working in Buffalo. And so he knew how much this meant to me. So to be able to do this, despite the fact that I'm carrying this grief with me, it means a lot to me. But also in the sense of, I've always been of the belief that, there's people die in two ways. They die when they leave their physical body, and then they die when people no longer talk about them.
Yeah.
And my dad did so much for other people, so much, and has saved so many lives. And he never really talked about it a ton. He never was like, "Oh, yeah, like, this was the kind of thing that happened," or at least he didn't do it around my sisters and I very often. It was
Mhm.
maybe if it really did it to anybody, he probably had those conversations with my mom, but I also was very aware of the fact that my dad did save a ton of people's lives. That was his
Yeah.
job, and that he was very proud of that, and he was very proud of the fact that he was able to be in a position of power to help people, and he was so in love with the idea of being able to help his community. And I want to be able to talk about that. Is because
Absolutely.
as much as it is hard, like, I know that he's watching, and I know that there's a part of me in him, and I also know the fact that my dad loved what he got to do every day. So why would I
Right.
not talk about that? And why would I not share the fun parts of my relationship with my dad? Because that truly has shaped me into who I am today.
Yeah.
Um, and even after my dad's passed, like, that experience shaped me as a person and as a reporter. It's something that bleeds into what I do, because I do take the time and care to make sure that, I do understand the fact that, some of the athletes that I'm covering, they might have lost a parent too, or they might
Right.
have a family member or a friend that's living with cancer right now. And it's not an easy thing to just go about your daily life with. And so I carry it, but I also am understanding of the fact that it's something that if I'm willing to talk about, it can help a lot of people, and it could also remind people that everybody's got their own thing. Everyone
Absolutely.
some people have weights that are heavier than others, but everyone's got their own weight to bear. Mine is just one that I'm willing to talk about if you give me the space to.
How are you doing now?
I think I'm doing okay. I think so. It's hard because some days are better than others.
Of course.
And there are times where I feel like I get really mad at him, just
Really?
honestly. And it's not even necessarily that I'm, like, upset necessarily that, like, of something, like, he did. It's just more so of I'll have a moment of being excited about what's going on in my life, or being really proud of something, or just, like, wanting to talk to him and being like,
Sure.
"Really? Really? Like, come on." And it's just one of those things, like, I joke with a lot of people, like, I sometimes will talk to myself, but in reality, I think I'm talking to my dad.
Yeah.
Like, I fully believe, and I fully have conversations with my dad to this day. And sometimes I'm just like, "Really? Come on. Like, dude, like, come on." But at the same time, like, my family and I, we've found like, little symbols that kind of, like, to us mean that my dad is, like, near us and around us.
Yeah.
One of my big ones that I do, my dad drove a bright red 4Runner, like
Hmm.
a bright cherry red
Oh,
4Runner.
wow.
You could spot that thing a mile away.
Yeah, my neighbor has a
Um,
bright red car, so
yeah, so you
yeah,
understand it, like,
I
you could see
do, I
that
do.
anywhere. So every time I see one of those, I'm like, "Oh, hi, dad." Like, it's just like one of those, it's just like it's become second nature at this point for me.
Sure.
My mom, her big thing is my dad and her used to go on walks all the time, and they'd see little bunny rabbits everywhere just because
Aw.
we lived in, like, suburbia, Northern Virginia,
Right.
so they're everywhere. So, like, if I'm on a walk or I go for a run or whatever like that, I'll see one, like, I'll take a photo of it, send it to my mom, that kinda stuff. We
Yeah.
have those things,
Totally.
that also help. But it is something that just, like, it's not something you ever fully heal from, it's
Of
something that
course
you
not.
deal with every day.
Yeah.
Um but it's also, like, ignited, like, this other passion in me.
Right.
I do a lot of advocacy and fundraising for PanCan, which is a research foundation that helps provide funds for research within pancreatic cancer, and, like, searching for treatments and, like, alternative ways to, help families and provide resources for those with pancreatic cancer, but also does a lot of lobbying with Congress,
Yeah, I was gonna
to help.
mention, I
Yeah,
I
they
heard
do
that
they do a
you
lot of
were
stuff.
I heard that you and your mom were trying to pass one of the laws to ban forever chemicals,
Yes.
and I was also very surprised to hear in 2023, 72% of, like, frontline deaths were from cancer,
Yes. Yes,
among
it is.
firefighters.
Yes, it is a very
I mean, that's
unspoken about
crazy.
statistic. It is a very unspoken of statistic. And I think that's why my family and I have been so passionate about a lot of this. Every April, PanCan does a 5K day where like, they do it all across the country. My family always does the one in DC because we get to walk right along. We get to
Yeah.
walk right along Pennsylvania Avenue. And we help raise money, and all of that money goes to research foundations. It goes to clinical trials. It goes to families who just need some extra support financially and assistance.
Right.
So we do those every year. They actually just opened their fundraising page. I have not made our team page yet, but I need to. I'm like, that's on my
Yeah.
to-do list. But
Well, please let me know. I
it's
will
like,
join and do a
please.
virtual run.
And so we've done that. This will be our third year that we've participated in it. But yeah, um it's something that impacts us so much, and it was something
Sure.
that I didn't expect. And I guess you could say like the fallout since my dad has passed. Like I
Right.
have a lot of family members that, they ask about it and stuff like that. And they're like, "How are you doing?" and stuff like that. And usually I kind of give the same like, "Oh, I'm doing okay. Like, yeah, I'm trying to, get
Right.
used to my new job and whatnot." But usually a lot of times I'll end up talking about, the fundraising stuff that we're doing, or the fact that like
It kind of like
we're
flips the
trying to do all
narrative a
this.
bit
It
into a
it
more
does.
positive response.
Right. And it's also something that my dad like wanted to do research on and wanted
Yeah.
to learn about when after he was diagnosed. I mean, he wanted to understand this and understand why this was going on.
Mm,
And we still don't have answers. I
right.
mean, this is something that isn't a short-term deal where it's like, "Oh, we'll get answers and we'll move on with our lives." Like this is
Right.
something that like it's going to take a while, and there are things like November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. And so
Mm,
the color's purple. So I usually try to wear purple to every game that I cover in the month of November.
yep.
And
I
so
saw you painted like
it's
some
little.
shoes that were really cool.
I did. So I have two pairs of purple shoes that are specifically dedicated towards my dad.
Yeah.
I have a pair of purple ones that I painted myself. That's
Ooh.
my Twitter bio, like my Twitter banner photo.
Yes.
So those are the ones that I painted myself, and then as a Christmas gift from our fire department that my dad was a part of,
Mm,
they gave us purple and red shoes that had my dad's
nice.
initials on the heels of them. So I carry those with me too. So I usually wear those quite a bit. I think the hard part is I try to be mindful of like the teams that I'm covering too, so I don't want to show up in like
Yeah,
purple and red
I've heard of
shoes.
people share those sentiments.
It's just like it's one of those like journalism professional things. So I don't always get to wear them. Just because those are two very bright colors.
Right.
Um, and so like I won't wear those specific shoes to the Iowa-Wisconsin game on Saturday, but I might wear my other purple ones. Like I have
Sure.
both of them for a reason.
Yeah.
Because the other ones are just white shoes that I just went and painted purple. But yeah, so it's like I do all of this kind of stuff. And I don't get to talk about it a ton during football season, which is why I'm glad you said something about it. But it's such a huge part of what I do in the off season, and it's
Sure.
very behind the scenes, and just kind of like in my free time. But I am passionate about it because at the end of the day, like my dad was passionate about it, and there's
Yeah.
no reason that we shouldn't continue to help find answers, even though, he's not necessarily presently on this earth anymore.
Right. I totally understand where you're coming from in the sense of just keeping his memory alive by doing that advocacy.
Hmm.
And, I do it with my, in honor of my grandpa who passed from Alzheimer's. Like these are not things we're going to find out easily
Right.
or soon.
Exactly.
I mean, shit, I would love to have the answer to both of those issues tomorrow.
I would,
Or,
you and me both.
I mean,
Like
by 3:30 today,
that.
give me the answer.
I have a
But
6 p.m.
like,
deadline for all my stories. That'd be great.
right.
But it's
Yeah.
just like it's not realistic. Science doesn't work that way. And it's not a
Right.
bad thing. It just means that we have to have the support to get those answers.
Right.
Um,
And I think there's, well, definitely you need the support to get the answers. And I think something that I've just like kept me grounded in, it's just like, it hasn't been discovered yet. It's the like,
right.
it's the yet. It's like, yeah, it hasn't been discovered. But it's like, well, maybe it will be one day. It hasn't been
Exactly.
discovered yet. I mean, you could take that for a variety of things, not just like finding the cure to these two things, but I haven't done X, Y, and Z yet.
Right.
Doesn't mean like you
Exactly.
won't.
And I think there's power behind that statement too. I think there's a
Absolutely.
lot of things that you can you can apply that statement to anything like you were saying, but also it just means that there's hope that there's an answer for a lot of these.
Yeah,
And I think at the end of the day, that's what my dad wanted, is my dad wanted hope
100%.
for other people. My dad was such a selfless human being that he automatically was like, I want other people to be able to have hope that there is something for them if
Right.
they have this diagnosis. Um, and it's something that I try to carry on now. And so it's not necessarily it's not the best burden in the world to carry. Like it truly is. It's something that I care a lot about, and something that I really realized how important it is to have so many people in your corner. The number of people I have in my corner, both because of the situation while it was going through it, but then also since then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly changed how I view who my friends are in this world.
I can
Um,
I can imagine, yeah.
yeah, and not just that, but just like who I consider my family.
Totally.
And so I think that there's and I think that also helps too, is the fact that, so many of my friends that even if they weren't I didn't know them when I was going through all of this. There's so
Sure.
many of my friends that to this day say, if you need to have the space to feel this, like, take it.
Right.
We'll be here. We'll help in whatever way we can. Um and that means a lot because
Absolutely.
there are some good days and there are some bad days. And when the bad days
Yeah.
happen, that's when you're supposed to lean on the people around you.
Absolutely.
Um and that's where I've really found comfort in learning how to grieve and how to grieve openly,
Yes.
is that having the right people around you. And
Yeah.
I think I do have the right people around me. And I
Absolutely.
feel very like grounded in that as well.
That's good. That's good. Well, consider me somebody in that corner with you as well. But Madison, I like to end every episode with the following question. So just take
Okay.
professionalism aside, like
Okay.
put the job aside, like just you as a person.
Okay.
Madison Hricik, what do you like most or admire about yourself?
Ooh. Kind of similarly to what we were just talking about. I think more than anything else, I do my very best to be there for people in
Yeah.
whatever capacity it is. I have a friend of mine who is going through some health issues right now, and she's been doing great. It's been a very positive
It's
process.
awesome.
But there are days that it's hard, and there are days that she's really struggling. And when that happens, I always tell her, text me, call me.
Right.
Like, if it's urgent, like, I have a bracelet that I got her, like, kind of as like a graduation gift. You know those little touch bracelets that went viral on TikTok?
I think so.
They're kind of here, I have it right next to me. So
Yeah.
basically it's like this. So you can double
Oh,
tap
I think
it.
I do. Yeah.
Like, you double tap it and it'll, like, light up. Let's see if I can get it to do it. There we go. It'll light up and I can
Yeah.
send, like, Morse code messages through that. And when she
Ah.
has hers on, it'll come off on it'll vibrate on her wrist. So I wear that all the time.
Oh, wow.
And that's a way for us to be able to talk, especially while she's, like, at the doctor's and stuff like that, and doesn't necessarily have the ability to have her phone with her.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also helpful for me too, because if I'm having a bad day or I need her support, it goes the other way.
Right.
Um, I love gift giving. I really do. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Same.
And so it's such a fun thing to be able to do, because it not only does it just feel satisfying to, like, express someone's love, like, express your love for somebody, but it's also so exciting to see how they respond to it. I think there's just, like, so much joy in that, and just getting so much joy in, like, seeing, like, their reaction to me being like, no, like, I'm doing this because I care about you and I want
Yeah.
you to be happy. I think that's probably the thing that I've taken the most pride in. It's just the fact that I want to be a good friend, and I try to show it in as many different ways as possible, whether it's just like pick up the phone or call me, or I'm going to send you a little care package just because I know you've had a really couple bad weeks and you need a smile.
Yeah.
Or we'll sit on the phone or a Zoom call with a bottle of wine and just bitch, moan,
Nice.
gripe about the world together. Like, in any capacity, I try to really be the, like, what do you need? I'll do it kind of friend.
Yeah. Same here.
And I think it's something that I don't like talking about myself in this kind of light. So I think this is the most uncomfortable bit I've been this entire time. But it's just like, it's such an important side of who I am, because I do
Yeah.
try to be a human first. And I understand
Absolutely.
that's not always the case in journalism. You got to be a reporter first, but being a human first, especially off the clock, is so important to
Well, I
me.
mean, listen, that's the goal of what I'm doing, is just trying to also, like, if anybody takes anything away from listening, I want them to know that, like, hey, these are people first. We are more than our work.
Yeah.
And then that's something I always try to preach and just live by, and I
Mhm.
encourage other people to embody that too. And even if you can't embody it, then explore what it means for you. But Madison, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. Like, it's so inspiring to so many people, and I'm very excited to see the rest of what you have going on for the
Thank
rest of the college football
you.
season.
Thank you so much, Dylan. This is so fun. And you did such a great job with this too. Like, this was such
Thank
a
you.
blast.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by Digital Sport by Hot Paper Lantern, a division of the PR, brand, and marketing agency Hot Paper Lantern. Digital Sport by Hot Paper Lantern helps brands grow at the intersection of sports, tech, and gaming. Learn more at hpldigitalsport.com or find them on LinkedIn at Digital Sport by Hot Paper Lantern.